everybody, and welcome back to my channel for this Monday morning, afternoon or evening across the world where you may be at. And today I'm going to be talking to you about the independent newspaper article with the headline "Record of 190,000 patients waiting for an autism diagnosis with devastating consequences." The article was written by their health editor Rebecca Thomas. I will link the article down below in the video description so you can read more about it for yourselves. But as an autistic woman, I like to bring you all the breaking news with regards to autism and disability. And I thought as an autistic woman this was important to bring to your attention and to your knowledge and awareness. So let's get into it. Exclusive NHS services crisis will leave tens of thousands of patients without diagnosis. A record of 190,000 patients are expected to be waiting for an autism diagnosis by 2024. New analysis shows as the NHS backlog soars, some 130,000 people are currently on the list to be seen, with 67,600 more waiting more than a year, according to reports by the charities the Donaldson Trust and the Brain Charity and community health provider CHS Healthcare. But they warn that figure is set to grow by 190,000 by next year, based on the growth of demand since 2019, due to continually widening gap between the number of people waiting to be seen and staff shortages across health services. According to the report shared with the Independent, 800,000 people are also set to wait for a attention deficit hyperactivity disorder diagnosis, also known as ADHD. The author of the report, called The Damaging Waits for Assessments, warns that the NHS is failing to keep up with demand, which has seen a 42% increase in the number of people prescribed ADHD medication and a further 269% increase in referrals for an autism diagnosis between 2019 and 2023. Laura Watkins, who is the Chief Executive Officer at the Donaldson Trust, says, which supports people with neurodiversity, said, "Unfortunately, these long waits can have significant impact on both the person and family members to function normally, and the incidence of developing mental health and relationship issues is prevalently high." Then it says, she goes on to say, problems can include poor sleeping problems, interrupted learning, disordered eating, social isolation, depression. We must do more to improve both waiting times for diagnosis as well as post-diagnostic support. The NHS target for patients to be seen following a autism referral is 13 weeks, but however, leaked NHS data shows that 109,480 people, 84% of the people on the list in December, were waiting longer than this. That makes it an increase of 488% since 2019, when the data was collected. The report comes as the number of new referrals for autism has soared, with 130,000 new referrals since December. According to the report, it would take 2 years minimum for the NHS to process all these referrals, and does not take into account any current or recent referrals. So these referrals are ones that have been backtracked since December, and they're now saying the ones since December are going to take 2 years to process. Nanette from the Brain Charity has also said the demand for autism and ADHD services are increasing, therefore there is no doubt we will see a heavier burden on society if things do not change. There is a huge economic argument for investing in diagnostic services in autism and ADHD. A NHS spokesman has said the NHS is committed to its long-term plan pledges of providing timely autism assessments, and we have published a new autism framework to support providers and clinicians to deliver improved outcomes in the all-age autism diagnostic pathway. So, what are my thoughts as an autistic woman, you may hear me ask? I am shocked that this report has found 190,000 people in 2 years are still waiting for an autism diagnosis by 2024. There is currently 130,000 people who are currently sitting on that list for an assessment. More than 67,600 waiting more than a year, according to the Donaldson Trust report. I didn't realise that 67,600 people are waiting more than a year. To me, that's incredibly shocking, and I don't know why that's been allowed to go on for so long. I don't know if it's due to the pandemic, or if it's due to lack of staff, or due to lack of people with lived experiences helping out in this situation to help diagnose people who may be going through the services, or there's not enough staff who have knowledge of autism or ADHD within the mental health and hospital services. This figure is set to grow by 190,000 by next year based on the demand since 2019 to shorten the gap between people being seen and staff shortages. Staff shortages need to get more people with lived experiences involved in clinical routes or clinical training to help. Also, the report says that 800,000 people are still waiting for an ADHD diagnosis. I agree the NHS is failing to keep up with demand and up to the people who are currently waiting, and this has seen a 42% increase in the number of people prescribed medication and a 269% increase in referrals. That's insane, a 269% increase. How the hell has that been allowed to get so high? How have they not took better control of this? How have we not got a autism service that works for everybody? How have we not got an ADHD service that is working for everybody? What is happening within the NHS in government? Why isn't the government stepped up and said, okay, here is some money, here's what you need to do with it, and we'll help get you better staff, some more staff that are trained in autism ADHD to help out with the current diagnosis waiting list? 2.5 years. That is insane. The amount of mental health issues and heightened anxiety this is going to cause for both the individual and the individual's families, that is absolutely bonkers. That's insane. So why has the medication rate increased, and what medication is being given to people with autism and ADHD, and why is there a 269% increase in referrals? Was this due to the pandemic situation or due to referrals being lost or not agreed on? I do agree that the wait for diagnosis can cause problems with sleeping, such as social isolation and depression, social anxiety. Why is the 13-week referral time not being acknowledged or even assumed that is still accurate? What is also, they talked about the NHS autism framework. What is that? And then they talked about the diagnostic pathway. What is the NHS diagnostic pathway for autism? I'd be interested to know. How can autistic people support clinicians better and professionals? But I like that the fact the NHS are finally taking responsibility on their part for the shocking, unacceptable waits for autism diagnosis. Let me know if you agree with me or disagree with me down in the comments, but I thought this was important to talk about and discuss. I think in my area right now, there is a lot of wait for autism and ADHD. I believe it's two years, just over 2.5 years, but my local services are amazing. They only have a short-term period to diagnose and assess people, and unfortunately, they only get so many referrals that they can deal with. I believe it's 60 referrals a week that they get, and they're currently still backlogged from the COVID pandemic, and they are diagnosing people as quick and as soon as they're able to. They are a very, very small team. When I first started volunteering with them, there was 8 of them. There's now only 4 of them. So, you know, we've lost a lot of staff team members, so please don't get too hung up on the fact that your autism service aren't getting back to you or replying to you. They are working on a tight deadline. They are working on a tight amount of money. They are having to be really careful with the support they provide afterwards with post-diagnostic care. Unfortunately, there is nothing in Suffolk that I'm aware of that will help after you receive that autism diagnosis or ADHD diagnosis. So again, I am going to pledge with the government to step up on this, especially the NHS. Maybe the NHS could put up a support group, or there could be somewhere we could go afterwards to talk to a counsellor, or, you know, someone who has knowledge of autism, ADHD, OCD, any other form of mental health issue. But let me know what you think down in the comments down below. Thank you for watching, listening to me, and I will see you next time. Bye!